Welcome to Turkish Series TV. Today I bring you something perfect for those who don't have time to commit to 100-episode series. I've put together a selection of the 15 best short Turkish series, all with fewer than 30 episodes, ideal for watching in a weekend or over a few days. These range from psychological thrillers to intense romances, science fiction, and period dramas. They prove that Turkish drama doesn't only shine in long formats, but can also tell extraordinary stories in just a few hours. But before we begin, it would really help me out if you took a moment to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for your kind support. Number 15. Hot Skull. Look, I started this one with zero expectations and ended up completely hooked by a premise I had never seen in Turkish television. Hot Skull presents a dystopian world where an epidemic spreads through spoken language. If an infected person talks to you, you catch it. Amid this chaos, a linguist discovers he's immune to the virus and becomes the most wanted person by an authoritarian government that wants to use his immunity for its own purposes. The series is on Netflix with just 8 episodes, perfect for a weekend binge. What makes this show fascinating is how it uses science fiction to address real issues like social control, information manipulation, and collective fear. The portrayal of a post-apocalyptic Istanbul is visually stunning, with dark cinematography that fully immerses you in the story's oppressive atmosphere. The performances are solid, and the lead conveys that mix of fear and determination very convincingly. My critique is that the series sometimes prioritizes visual aesthetics over narrative depth, and the ending leaves many threads open that needed a second season, which never came. There are also supporting characters that aren't developed enough, but as an 8-episode experience, Hot Skull is a bold and different bet that's worth discovering. Number 14. 50 Square Meters. What would you do if you discovered your entire life was built on lies? That's exactly what happens to the lead of 50 Square Meters, a hitman who is betrayed by his boss and hides in an abandoned tailor shop in an Istanbul neighborhood. When the neighbors mistake him for the late owner's son, he decides to adopt that identity and start over. The series has just 8 episodes on Netflix, making it perfect for an afternoon binge. What surprised me about this show is how it blends action, comedy, and genuinely emotional moments without any element feeling forced. Watching a professional assassin, learning to be a tailor, cooking for the neighbors, and discovering the value of community is more entertaining than it sounds. The lead has a charisma that makes you forget he was a criminal, and the neighborhood characters bring humor and warmth to a story that could have been purely dark. My critique is that 8 episodes feel short to develop all the subplots the series introduces, and the ending makes clear there were plans for a second season that never materialized. Some twists are predictable if you're a fan of the action genre, but as quick and addictive entertainment, 50 Square Meters delivers beyond expectations. Number 13. A Peculiar Love. Pay close attention to this one because it is a gem that many people overlooked. A Peculiar Love arrived in 2019 with a premise that sounds like 1,000 stories you already know, a forced marriage between two people who cannot stand each other. But the execution is what makes the difference. Ace works at the Yigator family factory. She is smart, has a good heart, and lives crushed under the weight of her 2 brothers. Kerem, played by Kagler Ertugrul, is the heir of the business, a well-known heartthrob and confirmed womanizer. When circumstances force them to marry, neither of them is happy with the arrangement. What follows is a genuinely hilarious romantic comedy, with moments of jealousy, misunderstandings, and that tension between 2 people pretending not to care while everyone around them already knows. The chemistry between Ertugrul and Berku Özberk is so natural that at times it feels like they are not acting at all. Now, the ending did not fully satisfy audiences. The final episodes rushed through some resolutions, and there are viewers who felt they deserved more closure. I understand that, and I share it a little. But the experience of watching Kerem and Ayse fall in love, chapter by chapter, without either wanting to admit it, is one of the most entertaining the genre has produced in years. The ending of this story will leave you speechless. Number 12. Midnight at the Pera Palace. There's something about the setting of Midnight at the Pera Palace that pulls you into the story from the very first frame. This Netflix series transports us between two eras through a journalist who accidentally travels to the past while investigating a historic Istanbul hotel. Suddenly, she finds herself in 1919 amid the Allied occupation of the city and discovers she must prevent a plot that could change the fate of modern Turkey. With just 8 episodes, it's perfect for a weekend binge without a long commitment. What hooked me about this show was the blend of mystery, real history, and romance in a compact format that never feels rushed. The Pera Palace is a real hotel that exists in Istanbul, and the series leverages that connection with reality to give extra weight to the narrative. The lead has an infectious energy that makes every scene entertaining, and the historical characters that appear add context without feeling forced. My critique is that some time travels don't have much internal logic, and there are moments where the series prioritizes romance over the main mystery. The ending also feels a bit rushed for everything it tries to wrap up. But as a short series of pure entertainment with a historical touch, it delivers perfectly. Number 11. Fatma. I'll be honest, at first I doubted Fatma because the premise sounded too simple. A cleaning lady searching for her missing husband who accidentally commits a murder. But I was completely wrong. Fatma is a Netflix psychological thriller with just 12 episodes that keeps you on the edge of your seat from start to finish. What makes this series extraordinary is its protagonist, a woman invisible to society, someone nobody looks at twice, and precisely because of that, she can move through the criminal world without raising suspicion. The lead performance is one of the best I've seen in Turkish drama, a silent transformation from a submissive woman to someone capable of doing the unthinkable to protect her family. Each episode raises the tension one level higher, and the way the series explores human desperation is both fascinating and terrifying. The portrayal of Istanbul's marginalized neighborhoods gives it a realism few series achieve. My critique is that the second season doesn't reach the intensity of the first, and there are moments where plot coincidences stretch credibility. Some supporting characters also appear and disappear without much narrative justification, but 12 episodes at this level of tension are hard to find in any language, a hidden gem on Netflix. Number 10. Gülcemal. If you ask me what to watch this weekend, that will leave you thinking for days. This is my answer. Gülcemal tells the story of a man abandoned by his mother as a child, an abandonment that turned him into someone cold and obsessed with revenge. With just 13 episodes, this series accomplishes what many can't in 100, building a complex character that makes you cry from rage and sadness at the same time. What struck me most is how the series shows that behind the toughest person, there's always a wounded child who just wanted to be loved. The scenes where the protagonist recalls his childhood break your heart, and the chemistry with the woman who awakens something in him he thought was dead is among the most intense I've seen. The rural setting gives it a unique atmosphere that perfectly complements the story's emotional intensity. The lead performances are extraordinary, especially the protagonist who communicates everything through his eyes. My critique is that 13 episodes feel short for a story with so much potential, and there are supporting character decisions that don't make much narrative sense. The pacing is sometimes uneven, alternating between moments of excessive calm and sudden twists, but the ending leaves a lump in your throat that doesn't go away easily. Pure intensity in compact format. Number 9. The Club. Few people know that The Club is one of the most original and daring Turkish productions to arrive on Netflix. Set in the cosmopolitan Istanbul of the 1950s, the series follows a mother with a dark past who gets a job at a nightclub hoping to reconnect with her rebellious daughter. With just 14 episodes across 2 seasons, The Club transports you to an era Turkish drama rarely explores, and it does so with a visual elegance that is stunning. What sets this series apart from any other Turkish production is its historical setting. It shows a diverse, multicultural Istanbul with Jewish, Greek, and Armenian communities coexisting in a city undergoing transformation. The mother-daughter relationship is the emotional heart of the story, and each episode builds that connection with patience and depth. The performances are exceptional, especially the lead, who conveys years of separation's pain in every glance. The nightclub music and aesthetics bring a unique atmosphere. My critique is that the second season loses some of the first's charm, and there are subplots that feel disconnected from the main thread. The pacing may also feel slow for those expecting constant action. But as a period drama with heart and substance, The Club is an essential gem. Number 8. 1 Liter of Tears. I don't know how to explain this without it sounding exaggerated, but 1 Liter of Tears is one of the short series that has made me cry the most. With just 15 episodes, it tells the story of a young college student who receives the worst news of her life. She has an incurable degenerative disease that will gradually take away her ability to walk, speak, write, and eat on her own. What makes this show special isn't just the tragedy, but how the protagonist decides to face each day as if it were her last, refusing to give up even when her body begs her to. The relationship with her mother is one of the most touching things I've seen in Turkish drama. A woman fighting tooth and nail so her daughter can live the best life possible in whatever time she has left. There are scenes where you watch her trying to do everyday things that are normal for anyone else, and that's where the series emotionally destroys you. The performances are so real you forget you're watching fiction, especially the lead who conveys everything with impressive naturalness. My critique is that some middle episodes slow the pace, and the ending divided fans' opinions due to questionable narrative choices. But 15 episodes at this emotional intensity are hard to find. Worth every tear. Number 7. Love 101. This one has its problems, I won't lie, but it's worth every minute. Love 101 is a Netflix youth series set in 1998 that follows a group of troubled students who try to make their favorite teacher fall in love so she won't be transferred to another school. It sounds like a simple comedy, but beneath that premise lies a story about friendship, identity, and the pain of growing up that surprises with its depth. With 16 episodes across 2 seasons, it's perfect for a weekend binge without a long commitment. What hooked me most was the nostalgia it conveys. The music, the clothes, the 90s technology create an atmosphere that transports you to another era. Each character in the group has their own problems and traumas, and the series develops them carefully without falling into stereotypes. There are moments of genuine comedy and others where the drama hits without warning, especially when addressing themes of acceptance and identity. The young leads' performances are natural and believable. My critique is that the second season loses the first's freshness and some romantic arcs feel forced. The ending also left many fans unsatisfied by closing threads in a rushed manner. But as a Turkish youth series with heart and personality, Love 101 stands out above many others. Number 6. Shahmaran. I've been meaning to talk to you about Shahmaran for a while, and today I'm finally doing it. This Netflix series blends Turkish mythology, romance, and drama in a way I haven't seen in any other production. The story follows a young professor who travels to the city of Adana and discovers she has an ancestral connection to the legend of Shahmaran, the Queen of Serpents, a creature that is half woman, half snake, symbolizing wisdom and love. With 16 episodes across 2 seasons, the series builds a fascinating world where fantasy and reality coexist naturally. What struck me most was the setting. Every scene looks like it came from an ancient tale, with colors, landscapes, and an atmosphere that completely envelop you. The chemistry between the leads has an intensity few series achieve, and the way Turkish mythology integrates into the modern narrative is brilliant. The lead performances are solid, especially the female protagonist who conveys vulnerability and strength simultaneously. My critique is that the second season doesn't reach the first's magic, and there are moments where the plot prioritizes romance over the mythology, which is the series' most interesting element. Some twists also feel predictable, but as a visual and narrative experience unlike anything conventional Turkish drama offers, Shahmaran deserves to be discovered. Number 5. The Tailor. There are actors who play a role, and there are actors who become the character. The lead of The Tailor is the second kind. This Netflix series follows a famous Istanbul tailor who begins making the wedding dress for his best friend's fiancée, and in the process discovers that feelings he thought were buried are more alive than ever. With just 16 episodes across 2 seasons, the series builds a love triangle so intense that every scene keeps you holding your breath. What sets The Tailor apart from other Turkish romantic dramas is its visual elegance. Fashion, sewing workshops, and fabric textures become part of the narrative in a way few series achieve. Every garment the protagonist designs reflects his emotions, giving the story a depth that goes beyond conventional romance. The performances are exceptional, and the three protagonists of the triangle handle the emotional tension with impressive naturalness. My critique is that the second season introduces dark secrets that sometimes feel excessive for the series' original tone, and there are moments where plot twists prioritize shock over narrative coherence. Some supporting characters also aren't sufficiently developed, but as a short romantic drama with impeccable visual aesthetics, The Tailor is a unique experience on Netflix. Number 4. Another Self. Getting to know the three protagonists of Another Self is what hooked me from the very first episode. This Netflix series follows three close friends who travel to a coastal Turkish town seeking alternative treatment for one of them who has been diagnosed with a serious illness. With 16 episodes across 2 seasons, the series explores mental health, family trauma, and emotional healing in a way Turkish drama rarely addresses. What makes this show different is that it completely moves away from the classic soap opera format and approaches contemporary drama with a mature and reflective narrative. The three leads have completely distinct personalities that complement each other perfectly, and each carries secrets and past wounds that surface during the journey. The performances are solid, and the coastal setting provides a visual beauty that contrasts with the emotional depth of the stories. My critique is that the series sometimes feels like a promotion for alternative therapies, and there are moments where the dialogue is too expository instead of letting the narrative speak for itself. The second season loses some of the first's emotional focus. But as a drama about female friendship and personal healing in a compact format, Another Self is a different and necessary addition within the Turkish catalog. Number 3. The Game of My Destiny. Listen closely. Here we have a woman who fought against everything and everyone, and that's exactly what you'll feel watching The Game of My Destiny. This series tells the story of a woman trapped in a marriage where she suffers domestic violence and her fight to escape that situation with her children. With 27 episodes, it's one of the most compact and powerful Turkish series in recent years. What makes this show different is that it doesn't romanticize suffering. It shows it as it is, raw and painful, without filters or embellishment. There are scenes that are hard to watch, but they're necessary to understand the magnitude of what this woman faces every day. The lead delivers a performance that leaves you speechless. Every gesture and every look says more than 1,000 lines of dialogue. And when she finally finds someone who treats her with dignity and respect, the emotional transformation is so genuine that it's impossible not to cry. My critique is that the series was prematurely canceled, and it shows that the ending was rushed, with 27 episodes not being enough to close all narrative threads as they deserve. There are also supporting characters whose motivations change without much justification, but what this series accomplishes in so few episodes is impressive and necessary. A show that dares to speak about what many others avoid. Number 2. Maraşlı. The lead performance in this series is on another level, and there are scenes where no dialogue is needed to understand the character's depth. Maraşlı tells the story of a former Turkish Special Forces soldier who, after his daughter's tragedy, retires to live as a second-hand bookseller. His life changes when a famous photographer walks into his bookstore and gets involved in a mafia incident, binding their destinies forever. With 27 episodes, the series blends action, suspense, and a deep love story in a way few short productions manage. The protagonist is a man of few words, but with an enormous heart, and watching him slowly open up to the possibility of loving again is one of the most beautiful things I've seen in Turkish television. Every episode has at least one action scene that leaves you breathless and an emotional moment that touches your heart. The ending is one of the most praised in recent Turkish drama, because it closes every narrative thread satisfactorily. My critique is that there are episodes in the middle where some family subplots lose momentum and the supporting characters don't always match the lead's caliber. But as a short series that combines action and romance without sacrificing either genre, Maraşlı is a safe recommendation. Number 1. Mother. I thought I had seen everything in Turkish drama, and then Mother appeared. With 33 episodes, this series is proof that you don't need hundreds of chapters to create a masterpiece. The story of a teacher who discovers one of her 7-year-old students is being abused at home and decides to fake the child's death to take her away and become her mother is the most powerful premise I've seen on television. From the first episode, you know this is going to emotionally destroy you, and yet you can't stop watching. The little girl delivers a performance that redefines what's expected of a child actor. Every gesture, every look, every tear is completely real. There's a moment where she tells her new mother that nobody had ever treated her like this before, and I swear it's impossible not to cry during that scene. The bond that builds between teacher and student is so genuine, it changes your definition of what it means to be a mother. The series addresses child abuse with an extraordinary sensitivity few productions achieve. My critique is that there are episodes where secondary characters take unnecessary focus, and some twists toward the end feel predictable. But none of that matters when the series makes you feel so much in so few episodes. Mother is the best short Turkish series that exists, period. And that wraps up this journey through the best short Turkish series. I hope you found at least one that fits your time and tastes for next weekend. If you have already seen any from this list, tell me in the comments which one impacted you the most and how long it took you to finish it. Don't forget to leave a like, share this video with someone who always says they have no time for long series, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next rankings. See you soon!